And so what we did in there was we spent, again, some of this can take a bit of time, right? It's not like we just fix it with one sentence and you're done and you can walk away. Like, this is ongoing developmental stuff. And so we worked with this client, we developed those 5 or 6 leaders, and we created a core leadership team. And then we started to build out from there in terms of where today, 3 or 4 years later, we're now working with 21 leaders in that company and training them and guiding them and providing support. And the senior leaders that were in that original group are now, leading chunks of the business, and they're being trusted to run that business well. And so it's been very, very successful. And that's also then allowed the owner to then level up and become more the executive type of leader and think about, okay, now where can I take this business? What can I do with this now? What strategies can I deploy? And so that's an example of a very successful outcome. Financially, the business is kind of conservative in terms of its financial growth rates. It is in the trade space, and so tends to be fairly conservative growth. But what's been exciting is to see these leaders level up. I mean, these guys are worlds away from where I met them a whole bunch of years ago, where they didn't particularly trust each other either. They liked each other. They worked together for a while, but they learned to trust each other. They learned each other's nuances. We worked through a whole program of self-awareness. We looked at, content like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We did a lot of personal stuff that then flowed into their business operations as well. So that's an example of a very successful outcome with a client. To talk about a successful outcome in terms of numbers, I was working with a lady. I was coaching her one-to-one. She was responsible for about $3 to $5 million worth of business, and she wanted to grow. She needed to grow, but she was also getting to a stage where it's like, I don't know how much more I want to do this. She was getting a little older and so forth, and so we worked with her. She was under the understanding that everything was okay as it was. When I kind of interviewed her teams and talked to people around her, the feedback I got was it wasn't okay. Whilst they loved her to death, she was an amazing person and still is today. She was obviously just getting to a place where it's like, I don't know if I need, what else I need to do. And so we worked through this process. Okay, how did she level up as a person? How does she bring, for her, it was bringing a much more assertive game. For me, assertiveness is somebody who 100% backs themselves, but always does it with humility. So the humility piece wasn't a problem. It was being assertive and being able to back herself. And so we leveled that up. Now she grew her business. Admittedly, it was inside a bigger company, but she grew her business from around 5 million revenue to over $30 million revenue in about 2 years. So obviously, as I said, she had some frameworks to do that, but it's those sorts of things. And so, that was a very, very successful financial outcome. And so it's all those sorts of things where you start to see these clients get a bit of a picture of how I can be successful. And if I feel like I can be successful, this is not an arrogant place to be. This is a great, confident place to be. Then what I do and the stuff around me can also be successful, which means I can take a whole bunch of other people on that journey as well.